Good afternoon and welcome to the Minerva High School's media class. Today we'll be conducting a telephone interview with two of our high school's custodians, Mr. John Williams and Mr. Mike Murphy. They have agreed to answer some questions from our class so that our student body may get to know them a little better. They're standing by in their office, so let's begin by trying to reach them. Hello, Mr. Murphy? Yes, I have my media class here, and they'd like to ask you and Mr. Williams some questions. Are you ready to proceed?
Talk to me.
Okay, I am going to put you on speakerphone, and we'll start the questioning. Okay, who would like to ask the first question? Luke, go ahead.
My question is for Mr. Murphy. We hear you're a real teddy bear when you're not at school. How do you respond to that?
And you're fooling yourself if you don't believe it. You're kidding yourself if you don't believe it. Why must you be such an angry young man?
Who's next? Taylor.
My question is for Mr. Williams. Tell us a little bit about yourself, like where you were born and what your childhood was like.
Give a listen, 'cause I was born lonely down by the riverside. Learned to spin fortune wheels, throw dice, and I was just 13 when I had a leaky bone. Knew I couldn't stick around. Had to roll.
Melissa, do you have a question?
My question is to Mr. Murphy. Do you have any nicknames?
Some people call me the space cowboy. Yeah. Some call me the gangster of love. Some people call me Maurice, 'cause I speak of the pompatus of love.
Who'd like to go next? Tiffany?
My question is for Mr. Williams. What do you do in your free time?
Of your ice cream, babe, stop me when I'm passing by. Of your ice cream, babe, stop me when I'm passing by. This is all my flavors again, she to satisfy.
Jamie, do you have a question?
My question is to Mr. Murphy. What do you think to yourself when you see a student vandalizing the school?
Is it any wonder I'm not a criminal? Is it any wonder I'm not in jail?
Cody, do you have a question for Mr. Williams or Mr. Murphy?
My question is for Mr. Williams. Since you travel a lot, tell us where you've been.
I've been to Hollywood, I've been to Redwood, I crossed the ocean for a heart of gold. I've been in my mind, it's such a fine line that keeps me searching for a heart of gold. And I'm getting old.
Kyle, do you have a question? Keep it short.
My question is to Mr. Murphy. Which custodian do you get along with the best?
And Johnny is my main man. He's the keeper of the keys. You put your mind at ease. He's guaranteed to please, backed by popular demand.
Who's next? Shanna, go ahead.
My question is for Mr. Williams. How does Mr. Murphy ask you for help on projects?
Show me the way. Every day I'm on to show me the way. Yeah.
Nate, do you have a question for one of the custodians?
My question is for Mr. Murphy. If you could live anywhere in the world, where would it be?
Or to live on Sugar Mountain with the barkers and the colored balloons. You can't be 20 on Sugar Mountain, though you're thinking that you're leaving there too soon.
Who's next? Corey, go ahead.
My question is for Mr. Williams. If you could live anywhere in the world, where would it be?
I think I'm going to Kathmandu. I think it's really where I'm going to. Hey, if I ever get out of here, that's what I'm gonna do. Kathmandu. I think it's really where I'm going to. Hey, if I ever get out of here, I'm on to Kathmandu.
A couple more. Billy, go ahead.
My question is for Mr. Williams. I heard you were taking your wife on a cruise. What made you decide on a cruise?
Gathering of angels appeared above my head. They sang to me this song of hope, and this is what they said. They said, come sail away, come sail away, come sail away with me, lads. Come sail away, come sail away, come sail away with me.
And finally, Kaylee, do you have a question for either Mr. Murphy or Mr. Williams?
My question is to Mr. Murphy. When someone asks you to take them on a tour of the school, what do you say?
Welcome to the jungle. We got fun and games. We got everything you want. How do we know the names? We are the people that can find whatever you may need. If you got the money, honey, we got your disease in the jungle. Welcome to the jungle.
Okay, Mr. Williams and Mr. Murphy, before we let you go, is there anything that either one of you would like to add so that the student body will know a little something else about you? How about you, Mr. Williams?
I believe it's time for me to fly. Time for me to fly. Oh, I've got to set myself free. Time for me to fly. Now that's just how it's got to be.
Okay, our class would like to thank you for your time, and you gentlemen have a great day. Thank you.
My question is for Mr. Williams. Since you travel a lot, tell me a place that you've been. That's wrong.
Tell us where you've been.
Okay.
Okay.
My question is for Mr. Williams. Since you travel a lot, tell me a place that you've been.
You just said the same thing.